Infosys is never in Africa. I'll be glad to announce to you that I signed a teaming agreement with Infosys with the Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission last few months in Madras, a single company that has 6 campuses, Professor, 50 hectares of land. The annual turnover of that company is about 18 point something billion dollars. Nigerian budget for 2024 is about 14 to 16 billion dollars. One company, private company's annual budget is bigger than the country. So who told you that you cannot achieve that? Who told you? There is a research that companies, if they put all the entrepreneurs that came out of Silicon Valley today, they will actually be one of the 24th richest in the world. Which means you and I can decide to change our mentality this morning or this afternoon to create the great. Last 3 weeks I was in Zambia, again with IIT Madras. If you can Google, IIT Madras is the toughest university in India. You know how Indians are intelligent. And that is the toughest university. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I can tell you that you can do it from, I don't care where you come from. I came from River State. I came from Tema community. I schooled in Diob. I schooled here at the university. It's actually in Diob. But with that, again, with what I'm going to show to you in the next 45 minutes, I guess that you can take it to the next level. And you'll be so glad to know that I'll be the one to, like what the center chairman has described, is a doer. An entrepreneur is a doer. And I'm going to show you in the next few slides to see. So I'm going to talk about 3 things here. And then the last one will be the catalyst. How the university should now move into the 21st century skill-based training. So it's an inquiry-based training. It's no longer the time that you will set academic syllabus alone without interacting with the students. Because the academic syllabus is supposed to be interacting with the community. Why the university is created is education, service, and also the community. So I'm going to share that with you today. So we'll talk about all those 3 things. And as stated, he said, if what you have studied, you cannot commercialize, it's as good as having a picture. You know, when you are an artist, you have a picture that you have framed and put in your bedroom, or it is in your toilet. That picture is only seen by yourself, your wife, your children, and your cleaner. So I want all of us to start now to take our, not only in the sitting room, you have to take it outside the street. Therefore, my urge is for the university, for the gown to move. Professor Sigalo in his book said, moving the gown to the street. So we need to mentally take the gown to the street. It is not enough to have the accumulation of all the knowledge that you can go and make things in our society. So, what I want to say here is that studying entrepreneurship and being an entrepreneur are 2 different things. I never studied entrepreneurship until I went to Harvard. And in Harvard, we had 3 years of training. And what they taught us naturally was risk and title, taught us on how to answer the comfort zone, you need to step out of the wheelchair. There is a twin in you, and that twin in you is a wheelchair that is dragging you down. And by the end of today, I'm sure some of you will get out of your wheelchair and go to the next level. Again, this topic, hearing me. So I redefined in my time the Chinese proverb. The Chinese proverb says the journey of 1,000 miles begins in what? So that is correct, but I decided to change it. The journey of 1,000 miles actually starts with the right mind, vision, and the right attitude. What discipline do you have to pursue the mind that you have? Some of you have the mind to start big. Some of you can become an empire, but what is holding you back is the attitude. And with the right step, but again in the right direction. Because my physics taught me that action and reaction are equal and opposite. But the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied force, and it takes place within the direction of the force. So if you want to move forward, you need to make sure that you have the right attitude and the right direction. You want to start a business, but you have 20 friends that you go and gist. From 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, you are discussing the problem between Wike and Saint Foboda. That's not the right attitude. You can't move forward. No. Yes, you started a shop in your bedroom, or you started a shop in Dube, but as soon as you enter office, Mr. K will come, you talk about the problem between Wike. That's not your problem. Anything that you discuss that you cannot solve should be kept in the parking lot, right? So the reason why I showed that picture was that there was a time in my life I sold mineral. There was a time in life. My sister here, one of my brothers here, told me I scared I schooled in Eleme. I sold mineral at Eleme Park. But I can tell you that it taught me a great lesson. It taught me a great lesson. I knew my customers at that time. I differentiated myself. My younger sister there, sitting down there, while I was selling mineral, sometimes she was selling ice water. But today, it's a change. I can't sell mineral anymore. I supply mineral. So, when you see that picture, what do you talk about? What is his name? What's his name? What's the name of that gentleman? Muhammad Ali. Ladies and gentlemen, the subject today is without your name being spelled. You just knew it. Muhammad Ali said that control your mind first. The body will follow. Your mind will quit 1,000 times before your body collapses. That business, that entrepreneurship journey you want to size, you should control your mind. The university has taught us, I was taught applied physics, quantum mechanics, rotation of rigid bodies, fluids, and so many things and so on and so forth. But when I came out, I have to change my mind to get to the next level. The picture that I showed to you here means that everybody should adjust. That picture tells you that, look, in life, you have to understand that you have to be innovative. The gentleman there, his leg probably will grow. We don't know. But because he has to make a move, he has to adjust the canvas, right? He was innovative with the right clips. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to be innovative. We have to look at it. This is not the time. They said you have to think outside the box. In my time, I always challenge my employees, what if there is no box? They are two different things. So, again, trying to build up the context of entrepreneurship, wherever I go to, I tell them about risk. Most of us do not understand that risk has appetite. What do you think about that rat? There is a food to eat. Entrepreneurship tells you that there's an opportunity out there. The chairman, the VC also mentioned it. But everything that has a reward has a risk. That means that you must have the leadership, the skill, and the capabilities to be able to take the risk. That's what I'm talking about now, discipline. I'm trying to lay this foundation very quickly so that we understand in the EDC the courses that you will create will be courses that will define those parameters. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. In Zanzibar, we sat down with IIT, and I'll give you access. I'm going to request on access. They've created more than 1,001 courses, free courses, that we can link to this university to learn, to be able to know it, and then apply it to the real world. But entrepreneurship is not recklessness. It's not recklessness. Entrepreneurship is never recklessness. The very good definition that I use all over the world is that entrepreneurship is the persistent pursuit of opportunity without regards to scarce resources that are currently controlled and constrained by founders' previous choices and industry-related experience. Our good friend, today people talk about monopoly. I won't mention his name. He's my friend. I won't mention monopoly, but I realize that he has read this book. Creating monopoly is not a sin. I also create monopoly in my business. I'm the only company that has the technology to look for oil in an unconventional way. I own 20% of that company in Canada. I created a monopoly. Change the law in a way that what they call barrier of entry. So barrier of entry that has been taught by our management students is not a fake thing, it's not lie. Even churches have barrier of entry. They have created church content in a way that when you go to the church, you will like it and you move from one church to another because they created what is called differentiation. So this is the definition of entrepreneurship. You must understand it is a persistent pursuit. The word pursuit should be underlined. Of opportunities without regards to resources. Gentlemen and ladies, money is not the only resource that is scarce. The first resource is your mind. That's the first resource. Before the pocket, your hand. Is there anybody that has missed his hands trying to collect money? Nobody. Is there any way you have missed your hands? Instead of you to collect money from your right pocket, you go to your buttocks to collect money? No way. So the first resources is the mind that will connect the whole thing. We'll move forward. It is the control and deployment of resources. Again, entrepreneurship is the doer. I'll move a little bit fast, so that I can allow my sister from Lagos to come and give us our own. It will give you a great deal. I'm very, very practical. A lot of us can sit down and play the football more than the players. A lot of us. If I was there, I would have passed this ball. If it was me, I would have passed this ball. That is a simple pass. He would have made that pass and then scored the goal. Come and do it now. Listen, take your business after today and draw a football field and put the opponent, your competitors, on the other side and put the ball as the fruit and move with it. Define your playing field. Define your midfield position. Defend your current position. The beginning of life starts with a purpose. What is the purpose of that business you are defining? What is the purpose? If the purpose of the business is to make people laugh, try to create it that people will laugh. Last week I was coming from Lagos, I saw Apororo, right? Apororo, is it so? Huh? Apororo, yes. Apororo's vision is to make you laugh, to decompress your adversaries. So you see him creating a lot of content that the way he moves alone, you will laugh. That is the purpose of his business. All of us should define it today. 5 P's of entrepreneurship. Please write it down. 5 P's. The first one, purpose. If a woman is pregnant and she does not understand that she's carrying a king or a queen, she will miscarry. If you don't know what you carry, the purpose of what you carry, you will miscarry. First one is purpose. The second one is philosophy. Philosophy. Today we have PhD mathematics. And I hear yesterday when I learned a new thing from my professor when they were talking about it. It's actually Doctor of Philosophy in mathematics, Doctor of Philosophy in chemistry, Doctor of Philosophy in law. Prof, with due respect, right? There is a philosophy in life. When God created all of us, he created also all of us with philosophy. And those are the digestive system. It's a philosophy. The recreation system is a philosophy. The reproduction system is a philosophy. So when you start a business, don't make the mistake I made first. After you start the business, next you go and call brother, sister, friend, fools to work. No. Write down the philosophy. We start businesses by bringing the coach without even laying the rails. We'll fail. So the second one is philosophy and process, and guided with technology. The reason why I'm putting technology that, Prof, I will leave this room with the 21st century slogan because we have connected to a lot of tech funds and everything. But Prof, I want the university to not to take the fund, but to take the substance. That is what they call in tax. They call it substance and form. Nigeria always take the fruit. They don't like to take the process of the making of the fruit. That's our problem. They give you the money, they build the building, but also go for the software part. Go for the philosophy so that the philosophy will drive further fruits. That's our problem. So the third P becomes people and talent to drive the philosophy and the process to achieve the purpose. Then the other one is your product and solution. You are a mathematician, you are a professor of mathematics, it's your product. You are a professor of law, it's your product. When you have your product, then we'll talk about market segmentation and all of that. And then you talk about the people that will sit on the product. If it's a profit or non-profit organization, then connect with the philosophy, then the purpose. The other P, which is what everybody in this world, especially Africans, have failed to realize, and that is the problem that we're facing, which I did a lot of research in my number of years of experience, is that greed. And greed will be conquered by what I call the profit and prosperity. When your business does not profit and make people prosper in three segments, the employees, the shareholders, stakeholders, and shareholders, business will not grow, including my own if I don't change. The business must satisfy three people. Employees first. Stakeholders, government relations, taxes, NCDMB, everybody. Then you will be the last. Because when a company is going bust, you are the last to collect money. So those 5 P's are very necessary for entrepreneurs to survive, because we can talk about the education is there. The university has a lot of framework. When I came here on Friday to attend my professor's event, I saw that they have a patent department. Patent. There's a department. There is something I saw. I told my people to take the picture. It's something related to patent. Registrar, you remember? University is complete. But the challenge is that the university should have what is called an innovative mindset to be able to connect the university to the outside world. That's the problem. They have everything. They have taught us everything. Since the university has taught us everything, I don't think that this is a new subject. But I just want to descale us from the pre-Newtonian way of thinking. So, risk management is a life skill that we need to understand. That we need to understand risk and uncertainty in business. Your ability to understand risk and uncertainty is going to be the thing that will take it further. So where is the entrepreneurship? Firstly, it must be a freedom. Freedom to establish an economic value, to create an innovation with that will become an enterprise. When your business is only you are the one collecting money, you are the one washing plate, you are the one serving the people, you are just a trader. Entrepreneurship is not a trader. Entrepreneurship means that people must run the business for you. You create enterprise. You create enterprise. Create opportunity for people to go. We are making so much of mistake in life. And most of us are snooker players. When I went to somewhere, one of my friends have a event center. I go there, I see people playing, what do you call this game now? Snooker. I asked him, why do you have to hit this ball to hit that ball? It's a process. Entrepreneurship is not a straight line curve. It's not. I know this young man is now a very big man. He knows me when we grew together in the business. Sir, it's not a process. Sorry, it's a process. It's not a straightjacket something. It's like a snooker. You have to hit this ball to hit that ball. So understanding the economics, the ecosystem of the business is very, very important. And so you understand that what the center, my good friend Chika, is trying to build with the school is innovation. It's actually innovation. Because the university has all of what it takes to create that skill set. But what we are going to be challenged, and that's why they have skill development. Skill development actually is a service. The university is known for three things. Number one, education, research, and services. Center is doing now is skill development. It's skill development. It actually settles the lower part of the ecosystem. But what is the main thing that we should focus on is to take the researches to the world. Because the researches are the thing that will actually create enterprises. The skill development will satisfy societal needs. So we're going to talk about that because universities are set up for three major things by research. Education, which is a knowledge-based development. My recommendation is to move it to 21st century educational system where the lecturer will sit down with the student to say, what is the societal problem? There is an energy shortage. Can plasma physics give us additional energy? Let's go. Then you connect ACOBOs, you connect panel holdings, you connect P Energy. You tell the university to write to its alumni. I challenge the alumni network, challenge them to come and sit down and talk about that problem. And give the students. It was saddening to hear that my lecturer wanted to go to Japan, no money. We should connect the alumni to be able to come and show them that if this technology is developed, you have this percentage, it will serve the world. That is what I think the university should do. Whether it is in law, whether it is in mathematics, whether it is in physics, whether it is anything. That is why I said that whether a Diop Street player or a Wall Street player, what matters is to understand the rules of the game and think ahead of the next move in a battlefield. It doesn't matter where you come from. I took this photograph when I went to Canada because I bought a company that is using an airplane. It's based on quantum physics. I pushed forward. I didn't have the best house in River State, but I pushed forward. And I went there, bought the technology. Today, by next week, we are mobilizing to survey a lot of places. If I tell you the volume of money, you'll be surprised. That was a monument. But I thought about it. I said, it doesn't care about a Diop player. A chess player, whether you come from Diop or not, you can win Kasparov. You can win the best. And I know that this university has produced better people than the people you find in MIT. The difference is our mentality. Where she came from in Lagos, they are doing it. They are doing it. This is the place where people will exploit oil and they've not given us grants, enough grants to develop our homegrown researches. We should stop it. The government, I call on the governors. I call on governor, take this message to him. Let us stop fighting, mudslinging, and convert those money that we pay to lawyers and everybody into entrepreneurship, and you see that this place will go forward. Take this message to him. Tell him I said it. That we should stop patronizing social money, bring $1 million into this university, I'll be the first person to donate that money. If the government will match me, and we will get the best solution out of this country and make our better River State. Listen, nobody is coming to this state because we are fighting. Nobody. There is no investment that wants to come to River State. The university is neutral ground. VC, before your time is over, call on these people. Call on Governor Wike. Call on Same Foboda. Call everybody to this auditorium and ask them to convert those social media money into entrepreneurship. I said it. I said it. Quote me. Let the media quote me. That the day the government, not their money, the day the government bring money, my company will donate money to that cause. If I can do it in India, if I can do it elsewhere, charity begins at home. Is an entrepreneur born or made? I put this on social media one time to the glory of my mother. She was not very educated, but there was a contest that you cannot find the gene. But I realized that she understood every bit of entrepreneurship. Most of us are Christians. The God that formed us said, before I formed you in your womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Ladies and gentlemen, professors, deans of faculties, academia, everybody, you are set apart. You are the only person that has the weight on your waist. Please, let us remove that. Let us remove that weight. And that weight is because of what we call the Michael Porter's 5 forces. I was taught by Michael Porter himself in Harvard. The difference between the European countries and here is because we have more than 5 forces. Michael Porter only identifies 5. He calls it threat to entries, rivalries, bargaining power, power of the buyers, threat of substitution, government regulations, and the rest of them. I put it aside. But I know that in Nigeria there is a cartel power. The only way, the only thing in life that cannot be duplicated is what you have that sets you apart. Everything can be duplicated. Everything can be copied. Cartel. I can tell you there is no amount of cartel that can put me down. No amount of cartel. Today, I solved the most complex problem in this country. The most complex problem. The problem of our oil industry that cannot take us to the next level, the solution is with me. It's because of the power of thinking. Nobody can duplicate it. We should encourage ourselves. Rivers people are great people. Rivers people are great minds that we should. Your role in government is simple. It's to seek out for new engines of growth. Today, the company employs close to about 200 people. If you multiply 200 by 4, it's about 800 persons. And all the people that are working with us, they understand that one of the biggest things that I value is training. I have people now in Korea. I have people traveling. They came from so many countries. I don't even know them. I meet them at the airport. They say, excuse me, how are you? I say, what are you doing? I say, I work for you. Which department? They say, I work in a digital solution. Oh, really? Who do you report to? Ronak. Who is Ronak? Where is Ronak? Is in America. All of you have the capability of doing that. Say, I have the capability. Say, I have the capability. Say, I have the capability. And you can do it. You can do it. This subject speaks to the people that have done research. I was asking the VC. We need to understand that innovation is invention times money. The executive secretary here has mentioned that he said, whatever we study should be commercialized. Your patent can be commercialized. How come today we're talking about climate change? Nobody in Rivers State is talking about climate change in the news. Every 5 minutes, what we are seeing is Wike versus Otium. I want to challenge everybody here that I will talk with the entrepreneurial person, put forward your invention on the table. Chika, when we finish, come and take 2 million naira for people that will push forward what they are doing. So as soon as that news comes, the next news that comes is that I have a solution for shoot. That is what we want to hear. By the time you trend that messages, all those messages, somebody is what you use to drive technology, and then an idea. Passion is what we use to drive technology. What passion do you have? How do you grow your passion? How do you take that passion to the next level? In legal terms, innovation, most of you that are lawyers, you will see that when you want to innovate a contract, you say this party and this party will agree, terms and conditions apply, you innovate the contract for one person. Innovation is opposite. Innovation, you don't agree. You disrupt. What has happened to Nokia and iPhone? What has happened? Innovation. Nokia is out of the game because they don't have the time to do it. Therefore, I want to let all of us know, to round up, is that my decision and my summary is that we have to consider education as a catalyst for innovation. And what are those 3 areas that I feel that the university should begin to focus? Number 1, in education. My appeal in my little research and engagement with other foreign universities is that knowledge-based development requires the university graduate in line with business strategy to grow. But we should move from that only knowledge-based to inquiry-based learning. Inquiry-based learning is where you take theory to practice. We need to first of all identify the societal problem, what is keeping us where we are in our industry, and then discuss with the students. So therefore, the teacher who has a set of skill, growing from, it's not easy to be a professor, growing from first degree, master's degree to professor, to become a professor, he will sit with you because he has a wider view. He will sit with you, and that subject might not be only chemical engineering. It might also involve electrical, mechanical, civil, or whatever the department, even legal. Come together, form a research group. Today, the world is talking about hydrogen. We're talking about hydrogen, green hydrogen. Please ask yourself, those of us in chemical engineering, what is hydrogen? What is green hydrogen? Let us start it in a lab. I went to India. The people that are doing it in a container. And guess what? The shell of this world, the action of this world, they are directed to do it. My brother, in addition to that, I want to believe that as NCDMB, you have a research and development arm of your department. I will urge that you take to the ears that this is one of the universities that is hosting most of the industry belt, should be considered as a partner in research and development. The second one is out also for us in the alumni to take a list of River State alumni students wherever they are working. Make it conducive. We can't come for a meeting. The only maximum place we can come for a meeting is this hall. You can't bring us to a meeting in a place where we're all sweating. But it is a function of the alumni to keep the university cool, not only the university itself. Services is already what you are doing by continuously helping the lower cadre of learning, by buying sewing machine, and so on and so forth. It's enough, but sewing machine alone cannot take it to be an enterprise to feed nations. Thank you, gentlemen, for your kind message.
Please celebrate Mr. Dare Akobo,
It's my university, so I'm very passionate.
Chairman, GCEO Panel Holdings, for the keynote address. You can sit down, please. You can have your seat. You can have your seat, please. Let's appreciate our keynote speaker again, Mr. Dare Akobo. Vice Chancellor, Sir, Chairman, let me invite our guest speaker for today to step forward and invite Mrs. Justine Odimabo to read a abridged citation of our guest speaker. And thereafter, she will deliver her lecture.
The Vice Chancellor and distinguished members, Dr. Nneka Okekaru is the Director and Head of Gender at the Enterprise Development Center of the Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos. She is a leading expert in enterprise development with over 20 years experience in entrepreneurship, gender, economic inclusion, and leadership, and has worked with institutions such as United Bank for Africa, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Nneka is a passionate and most especially created pathways for process improvement for entrepreneurs through sustainable and innovative solutions that promote inclusive business development that generates decent employment opportunities for all. She is a chair of the Learning and Development Africa, a network that seeks to harness knowledge from emerging trends to provide impactful L&D solutions in Africa. She also sits on the West African Steering Committee of the Aspen Network of Development Entrepreneurs. Please, let's welcome Dr. Nneka Okekaru.
Thank you very much for that. Good afternoon, my distinguished professors. Please allow me, I'm coming from Lagos, to stand on the protocols that have been established. Okay, so they were established earlier on. So good afternoon, everyone. That's very weak. Are we tired? Are you sure? Stand up. Let's all stand up so I know that we're not tired. Don't mind me, I'm from Echo. Aha. To be here? Are you sure? Okay, so let's try it again. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. I know I have people in the hall with me, so it's okay. We can see that. I wanted your blood to flow. So as a master trainer for the World Bank, part of what we train other lecturers and trainers as master trainer for the World Bank is that we don't sit for more than 2 hours. Okay? We don't sit for more than 2 hours. So once we've been sitting for such a long time, we always get people to stand up. So we make sure that they're still connected to us. It's a pleasure and a rare privilege to be here. And I want to say thank you very much to my brother. We met for the very first time earlier on in the year when he came on an NUC authorized and approved learning journey to our center in Lagos. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much, my Vice Chancellor. My job is very easy. It's just to share a story. But I cannot see the slide showing. Okay, be that as it may. They introduced me saying that I came from Lagos. But beyond that, I want to say that I myself am an entrepreneur. My parents were entrepreneurs. They were carpenters. My siblings are entrepreneurs. My husband schooled in Uniport. He has never in his life worked for anybody and he's above 60. He's an entrepreneur. And me, myself, I'm a born hustler. So, yes, I'm a born hustler. I think my cousin is here. And I'm putting him on the spot by calling, Miken, are you here? Are you still here? Or has he left? Okay. Where is he? Stand up for recognition. That's my cousin. He came to support me. Just last night, we were talking about the hustling spirit and how now more than ever, it's good for us to keep talking. Entrepreneurship is this, entrepreneurship is that. But whether we like it or not, that's the only choice we have. We have no choice. Whether as lecturers and professors, whether as young people, entrepreneurship is the only way we can go. Because with entrepreneurship, things happen. And before the slides come out, I'll just share a little bit about the things that we have done with entrepreneurship at my center. So the Enterprise Development Center is the entrepreneurship center for the Pan-Atlantic University. As you know, we're a private university. We're not as fortunate as you to be government picking that they'll be giving you money. We have to look for our own money by ourselves. So right from the first projector that we bought, myself and my colleague, Olawale, we know how we hustled, how many trainings we sold to earn that 80,000 naira 20 years ago to buy that. Entrepreneurship is a wonderful thing because what it does is that it unlocks the potentials that you have. From that one laptop, one projector that we started 21 years ago. Today, my center has office in Kaduna, we have office in Abuja, and we have office in Kano. From the 2-man, 3-man team, we are now 40 full-time and over 400 flexi staff, not only in Lagos, across Nigeria, and in sub-Saharan Africa. Still entrepreneurship, 1 laptop, 1 projector. And beyond that, we've had the privilege of working with a lot of multilateral agencies, a lot of well-meaning individuals who understand that if we don't take entrepreneurship seriously, we're not going anywhere in this country, whether we like it or not. Because for every one woman that we have trained, from the monitoring, evaluation, and research that we have done, for every one woman that we have trained in the last 1 year, that woman has successfully created a job for 2 other people. 1 full-time, 1 part-time. And that is the power of entrepreneurship. It's a beautiful thing, and it's something that whether we like it or not, we must take it seriously. First, as faculty members, as lecturers, as professors, we cannot sell what we don't understand. We cannot sell what we don't believe in. So if you do not believe in it, it's not going to work. I know that I'm wearing a different hat as a private sector entrepreneurship center. I was sharing with him when I came yesterday that I'm building an innovation hub that's going to cost me $2 billion. I'm raising that money by myself. I'm already doing I started doing my foundation. They told me I have to change from what I'm doing to PILE. It's costing me an extra 272 million naira. But I'll raise that money, and I know I'm going to raise that money. I'm not afraid of raising that money. That's the power of entrepreneurship. Okay? So we must take entrepreneurship seriously. Everyone in my office, every single staff of mine must, absolutely must, have an alternative revenue stream. Because my salary is not enough. You can never take them home. But like I said, I'm wearing a different cap. I'm private sector. In my university, as a faculty member, you must spend 40% of your time externally. That's the only way you can enrich your classes. You cannot be holding the book, reading book. If you're not doing consulting work, if you're not doing programs and projects, there's a problem. Yes, we're all rushing to make professorship. Luckily for me, I'm entrepreneurship, so mine is all about impact. I'm impact-driven. The first time in the 21-year history of my center, this year, as at August, we were successfully training a minimum of 2,000 people in every single state in Nigeria. Every single state, including bringing sign language instructors to teach those that have auditory impairments. That's the power of entrepreneurship. It's so important, and it's not something to be taken lightly. I heard my brother talk about, talking to the government and all that. But I want to go on the other divide. Ignore government. The power in your alumni, you cannot believe it. In my university, all the units are completely autonomous. So what that means is that I have my budget, I have my objectives, I present it to University Management Council I'm part of, and then it's taken to the governing board, and the governing board approves it, and that's how we run. Now, all those objectives have monetary consideration. For next year's objective, I put in there that I want to have an accelerator for young people in tech. It's going to cost me roughly 50 million. But guess what? I already have 30 million. From where? My alumni. So your alumni is so powerful. He's an alum. They are so powerful. You're not cashing and maximizing them enough. Leave government. Because this is what the challenge with government is, that the government of the day might like and all that. By the time that one goes and the other one sees that one was favoring you, you might enter that one's bad books. But you see, private sector, once you're locked in firmly into private sector and you're offering value, there's no turning back. He mentioned it when he talked about our school. The university, for those that haven't been, was built by private sector. My building, when we built it, it cost us almost $1 billion. The money came from my alumni. They'll say, oh, we'll give. There was one particular alumni, Beloxi Biscuit. Every week, every Friday, he was sending 100,000 naira. Because he committed to 10 million. This is 10 years ago. Every week, he was sending 100,000 naira. There are some that will tell you they'll support you with 50,000 naira. So I want us here My purpose of coming here is to say that you have so much power as lecturers, so much power. There is nowhere in the world that you go, you won't see somebody that you've touched their life. In touching their life, please also ignite. Thank you. Yes, it's on. Can I have the pointer? In touching their lives, please, your own lives need to be touched. Because you know how it is now. If it's not being touched, if they cannot see the fire in you, they are not going to listen to you. Okay? Are you with me? Are you sure? Okay. Just making sure. Okay, so luckily for me, our distinguished keynote has done a lot talking about entrepreneurship. So I'm not going to talk about what he can do and what it means. He's touched a lot about that. And I think the most important thing he talked about was the value that you can get and the value that you can give. Okay? So what I want to do really essentially is focus on what we have done as a university and share. So the center has a mission that we want to create a network of entrepreneurial leaders that are committed to three things: continuous learning, process improvement, and business integrity. Now, for us, what that means is that no matter what comes our way, because we're private sector, if it doesn't fall into those three buckets, no matter how much money I can make, I won't do it. I can't do it. So I've turned down a 350 million naira transaction because I couldn't see myself improving processes. I couldn't see myself being committed to continuous learning. I couldn't say anything around corporate governance, regulatory compliance, and business integrity. And that's the power of having a very strong mission. And I think my brother has a very strong mission for his center as well that drives him. So irrespective of the money that comes to you, it doesn't drag you in the wrong direction. Okay? So at the center, we approach entrepreneurship from a meal perspective. We say that when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's like when you go for dinner, when you go for buffet. You know, typically what will happen, they'll give us pepper soup, Abi. And what does the pepper soup do? For some people, it's pepper soup. For some, it's salad, right? What does it do? It whets our appetite. It sort of helps the palate get ready for the main course. So what we do as professors, as lecturers, that's what we're doing. Right? We're opening their mind. We're working on their mindset so that what can happen? So that these young people that we've been given the privilege to transform, understand that they cannot and should not see themselves as wealth seekers that are going to just come out of university and they're looking for who will employ them. Our role is to let them understand that they will generate wealth. They must generate wealth, one way or the other. And that's what the training that we're doing, whatever it is, whether we're studying biomedical engineering, whether it's accounts, whether it's economics, that's what we're doing. And if we're teaching and we're not transforming them, if we're not helping them see another way of doing things, another way they can use that knowledge to transform the country that they're in, then we haven't started. So, we finish with the training. But beyond the training is good. Because what training does is that they start to see possibilities. The second thing is that we now move to the main course. And the main course is the most important. And that's where I will charge my dear brother, Mr. Kobo, and other alumni. And that's hand-holding. And in that hand-holding, that's where we have the mentoring. That's where we have the internship. That's where we have the opportunity and the platform for these young people to see life beyond what they thought it was. And that hand-holding is something that's helped us at the center to be where we are. The hand-holding we're able to have, because if we go, knowledge has been democratized. It's everywhere. If you don't have Udemy, you have Coursera, you can learn anywhere. In fact, 4 years ago, a debate started globally in Europe, and people started questioning the need to go to university. Especially now more than ever. My niece, who is in the US, she finished from computer science. I've been begging her to go and do her master's, and she doesn't. She's like, Auntie, why am I doing my master's? I'm earning $425,000 in Netflix. I don't need it. I just need to do the organization's regular certification. So, what that means is that if we're not offering something that can radically change things for people, we haven't started. So, hand-holding is something that does that. Because with hand-holding, with mentoring, with opportunity to rub ideas, share minds, see through eyes that have seen differently, What now happens is that people start to see potentials and possibilities. And then the last thing that we do, so that's the chocolate. So for me, I say that my meal starts with my dessert. If there's no dessert, I haven't started. I have a very bad sweet tooth. I love sugar too much, right? And for us, the dessert is access. And that's access is to what? To anything and everything. And what we've been able to do is to provide them to funds, to markets, to partnerships, to collaborators. So beyond the teaching, my dear brother that is doing entrepreneurship here, I want to, and I'm committing to working with you. I already told you that. Let's see how we can further structure what we're doing. If we're teaching economics, beyond the teaching we're teaching, what else are we doing? What other access are we providing to these young people? It's so, so important. So what I want to do now is, so I'll talk on pedagogy before I start sharing some case studies. So at the university, we found out that when we use a lot of experiential learning, the young people do better. And for us, doing better is not so necessarily, it's not just getting a first class, but how and where they position themselves in society. And because of that, we've made sure that we've created an ecosystem. So I'll give an example. The School of Media and Communication now, they work closely with MNET. So MNET is there, and you can go on campus and you see that they're shooting a film. And as they're shooting that film there, or that sitcom, or whatever they're shooting, the students are part of that. For those that are in SST, the Science and Technology, I'm working with them. This innovation hub that we're building, we've approached a multinational, and they'll be giving us equipment so we can start to look at the climate space and climate tech, right? So we're working with them on that. So it must be experiential. And for as long as it remains abstract, no transformation can take place. So part of what we do is that we use case studies, we use simulations, role plays, games, activities. It must come to life for them. Now, I want to start to share some of the brands that we had the privilege of working. So this is a brand that came out of Lagos, but I think they have a location now in River State, So Fresh. So they do fresh juice and salads, right? Are they in River State now? They're in Port Harcourt, yes. So Fresh is a husband and wife team, and we're both working, just like me and you were working. The woman was working, she's HR, the man was working in an oil company, and they set up this business while they were still working. By the time they came to our center, and they came for a lot of different programs, they started So Fresh. Today, So Fresh has more than 10 stores in at least, I think, 7 states of the Federation. Their staff strength, if it's blended, if we look at even those in the agribusiness space, is close to 500. That's from an idea. That's from a couple who were working and stepped out. But the beautiful thing about it is that So Fresh is now expanding, and they're looking at the circularity space. That's a husband and wife team. The next one I want to share focuses a lot on ecosystem building, right? So beyond the training that we're doing, one thing that we charge the young people to do, as well as the established entrepreneurs to do, is that they should not learn only for themselves. They should not grow only for themselves. So one thing that we started telling them is that they should look at the industry where they are. Because if that industry is not growing, there's only so much that they can grow. And luckily, a lot of them have taken the charge and they're rising to it. How many of us have heard of Lagos Leather Fair? Lagos Leather Fair. Okay, thank God, I can see one hand. So Lagos Leather Fair is the biggest fair concerning the leather industry in the country. It's been featured on CNN, it's been featured on BBC. And essentially what it is that entrepreneurs in that space, either whatever it is that they're making with leather, are invited to exhibit. The ministry that manages that space is also doing research with the founder. The founder is an alumnus of the Enterprise Women's Center, and her brand is called Femi Handbag. One of her bags, the minimum it retails for, I think, is $1,300. But when she started in Ibadan, so she's in Ibadan, that wasn't how she started. But what entrepreneurship education did was to make her see that that little business she started out of a desire to find the right type of baby bag So she had her first child. When she had her first child 28 years ago, she was looking for a baby bag. And all she saw were those funny plastic bags that were very popular back in the days. And she said to herself, I don't like this bag. It's not classy. It's not nice. And she took fabrics and she made a bag, and that's what she was doing. And people saw it. And today, she has not only a very thriving business that is recruiting so many people, that was able to attract grants for the leather industry, but she's also established Lagos Leather Fair so that she can help other people in the leather industry to transform their businesses, to transform their mind. That is the power of entrepreneurship education. So at times we might be talking about entrepreneurship education, saying, the theme today is that it's a catalyst. But I'm sharing with you that indeed it is a catalyst from our own perspective at EDC in Pan Atlantic University in Lagos. So these are just some visuals of the bags that she retails. She also has stockists stocking her bags in France, in New York, I think 500 countries in Europe and North America. And she has a thriving business and is barely able to meet demand. The next example I want to share is Eventi. Eventi is a lady, and she makes cocktails. It's so popular now to have cocktails. But after coming on the program at EDC, she realized that what she had was a business that had larger potentials. And today, she's the founder of Lagos Cocktail Week. Yesterday, they celebrated their 10th year. And what she has done is that she's trying to get the bartending industry to get certified. And we're working with her on that. She's working with a lot of large drinks manufacturers, so that also they too can help to certify. And it might seem like it's something that doesn't make sense, but the bartending industry is, as at today in Lagos, is not recruiting anything less than 1 million people. So it might appear that at times the work that we do in class is not worth it. But when you start hearing the numbers, when you start seeing the stories and lives that have been transformed, you realize that indeed a lot is happening in that space. And then I want to talk about someone that is a business that is so common. Someone that was just a very simple tailor, Yetro's Lane. She started making clothes, and then she came on the social sector, on the Oxfam program. So something about our center is like, I remember I told you that I have to look for money. So in looking for money, I don't go to government. So in looking for money, I come up with programs and projects, and I go and meet multilateral organizations, and they support. So for 9 years, Oxfam supported us. Every year, they would take 15 high-growth potential social entrepreneurs, and for 1 year, beyond the training we give them, we train their staff. We also go and visit them in their location and help them with their systems and structures. Now, that program we designed was a pipeline program because there are some companies in Netherlands and in Denmark that had money they wanted to invest in Africa, but they saw it as too risky. So he talked about purpose and value. And we went and said, you know what, we'll help you de-risk the space. Let us work with them for 1 year. When we finish working with them for 1 year, there will be some people that you can invest. And the minimum ticket is 250,000 euros. Okay, so So Fresh actually was also on that same program. So Yetro's Lane came as a tailor. Today, this same lady, after teaching her, me and her bid for money from a European multilateral agency last year. Okay? And she was able to access, I won't say how much she was able to access, but she was able to access a significant amount of money that has helped her to rapidly scale. That's the power of entrepreneurship education. And when I say money, I don't talk Naira. Notice that Naira is only my hub. All my money is in dollar and euro. Her money is in euros. And it's a beautiful thing to watch, to know that you met somebody. And because you taught that person, you gave that person entrepreneurship education, they're able to go out into the market and transform their sector. So today, beyond what she's doing, she's working in the circularity space. Okay? And she's teaching young Nigerians how to create businesses in the circularity space. That's the power of entrepreneurship education. It is a catalyst. We believe seriously in it. And I want to charge all of us here not to take it lightly. There's so much that can happen with entrepreneurship education if only we embrace it. And then I've talked a lot about postgrad. So we started as a postgraduate university. We only started undergraduate in the last 10 years. So my center, we teach every second year and I think third year. We just introduced third year. They have to do entrepreneurship. And the program that we designed and developed is really a very practical program. So beginning of the year, when they start in October, they're put in groups. And then, so when we started for the first 3 years, they were put in groups to come up with products that they wanted to do. And then we raised money and we gave them. And the ability to pass that course was in how much more profit they made from the money that we gave them. Their final exam, their final test for that program was to plan an exhibition that a minimum of 300 people would come and they would sell. One of the other assessments, we got actual angel investors. Theophilus Danjuma has actually even listened to them pitch. So pitching is also one of the assessments that they have to do. We've changed it now to move with the times. So now their final assessment is a demo day that they have to do. And watching these young people go through the program and seeing how it has transformed them is amazing. I want to share this image. So the young man in the middle won the first ever Professor Albert Allos Entrepreneurship Award, which we instituted to commemorate, the great man that was our very first vice chancellor. This gentleman that you see used to be a security man at LBS. He came into the system as a security man, and one evening, I noticed him in the security when I was leaving, and I saw him with a computer. I was like, what's this small? He's quite small. So what's this boy doing with a computer? I hope he's not doing Yahoo on campus. And I started engaging him. But cut long story short, he applied, he got a scholarship, he came through our program. He set up a business, and he won that prize, that cash prize. And today, the business he's set up, even though he got scholarship to do his master's. That business is still running. Okay? Now, the second person I want to talk about, I didn't put her image, is a young girl called Zainab. She graduated 2 years ago. When she was in school, Zainab started selling guinea fowl. Right? Today, she's working in one of the large corporates in Lagos. But guess what? The proceeds from her guinea fowl business pays for Zainab to go for her summer holiday, one summer holiday every year. She's not up to 26. That's the power of entrepreneurship education. She's still doing it, and she says she's not leaving it for anything. That people will be teasing her and laughing at her. She's looking at them. She's smiling to the bank. It's only entrepreneurship education that has been carefully thought out, deliberately planned, that can do that. Okay? So I wanted to just share 2 stories of undergraduate. Now, this is a story about my mentee. This young man is from Adamawa State. His name is Isaiah. He came on our program 7 years ago. And he had great ideas, So I always take them on the first day, because on the first day I help them clarify their vision. And he was going on and on and on about what he wanted to do. As at then, his turnover was 20 million. It was just him and Amaka, his co-founder. He's in tech. Fast forward, that if you're not mentoring somebody, if you haven't been mentored, you need to rethink mentoring, because mentoring is so powerful. So today, less than 10 years, I can say we, because I've mentored them to this level. We are on 6 African countries. We're in 6 African countries. We're currently registering in the UK because we have a contract there. We are now at almost 40 staff, and our turnover isn't anything less than 7.2 billion as at the last audit year, from 20 million less than 1 year. And that's the power of entrepreneurship education. That's the power of mentoring particularly. And as a mentor, my role was very clear. I focused on corporate governance, and I focused on access, being able to provide access to him and to the business. And today, they're doing very well. So, but doing very well, you cannot do it alone. Like I mentioned earlier on, the university was built based on collaboration and partnership. And we must deliberately cultivate those partnerships. We haven't gotten to where we are just by ourselves. We did that because we had a lot of very strong partners and people that believed in the EDC dream. There's so many of them. So I separated them. I put the public and the private. So the very first car that we bought in EDC came out of a transaction that we did with Diamond Bank. So Diamond Bank, when it was Diamond Bank, had a program that we ran with them. And that program bought us our first car. And because they were so happy with the value we offered, they gave us a separate project a few years later on, which also bought us a second car. Now, all these people on this that I put on the slide, we've worked with them to develop projects and programs that meet their own objective. Because for as long as you're meeting objectives, for as long as you're solving a problem, you will always, always be in the room. You'll always be relevant. But if you're not solving any problem, if you're not meeting the objective, you're not helping them advance and add value, they will transact with you once, but that's it. Another thing I want to say is that we believe in marriage. We don't like one night stand. What do I mean by that? All our partners, minimum 3 years. So we have partnerships of 5 years. If I look at ExxonMobil Foundation, Chereble Foundation for Women, it was supposed to be for a year or two. We did 8 years. The same thing if I look at Oxfam. Okay, so long term. And why do we do that? Because you see, for impact, for long-term impact, when you're using MER, so that's monitoring, evaluation, research, and learning, which you also know, because I'm talking to academics, we see more when we do long-term. And they also, by the time they're seeing the results, and they take it back to shareholders, it's a reason to continue, it's a reason to keep investing. Okay? So we've done different programs and projects with all of them. I will be working with my brother here to see how we can start to see what we can collaborate and bring to RSUT. On the government arm, it's not always money. It can be positioning. So it's to find whatever faculty it is, what federal government arm can I work with to position my unit, position my department. I appreciate the fact that we do have autonomy and we're private sector, so there's some things that we cannot do. But I also believe that, you know, with creativity and innovation, we can work around a lot of things. Even if our constitution says there's some things we cannot do. Having a very, very dynamic vice chancellor like we do, there's so many things that we can work around. Okay? So I want to just leave you with one thing, and it's an acronym called RISE. So the way I asked all of us to rise up, right? So it's RISE. And the first thing, the R is for resilience. If we're training, teaching young people, and we're not helping to prepare them for challenges that they will face, we have failed. We must have resilience in everything that we're doing. The I is for innovation. We need to encourage them to think creatively and to always see how they can solve problems. They should not be adding to the problem. You can't be 18, 19, 20 in today's world and you're following to complain about fuel, you're following to complain. Don't allow them do that. And you also don't do that. The S is for sustainability, the ability to think long term. And then the E is for empowerment. We should be able to get them to see that they must contribute to helping Nigeria get to the Nigeria that we seek. And if we follow the RISE, I do know that slowly but surely we will see the change in the economy. Thank you very much.
Please appreciate Dr. Nneka Okekaro, the Director, Enterprise Development Center, Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos. Thank you. Please appreciate her again. Put your hands together for her again for the lecture. Our guest lecturer for today. Please, you can have your seat. The Vice Chancellor, the Chairman of the occasion. Remember, the Vice Chancellor earlier announced that it's a workshop and the opportunity will be given to participants to ask questions. So we're going to go into that section now. Let me invite Maudlin Park to moderate the section. And it will be brief. I think 15 minutes will be done with it.
Good afternoon. I gladly salute members, distinguished members of the high table. I have to take a bow for my VC because we are from the same faculty. I have come here to add to what the former speakers have said, and also to ask members of the audience if they have any questions. So we're going to first of all have a question and answer session. And after that, we're going to take some goodwill messages. I'm sorry, sir, our former Vice Chancellor, Professor Ashton, who is here, and also our First Lady here in the university, Barrister Kobule is here. I greet everyone, and I must say that after listening to Dr. Ineka, we're all enthused, aren't we? So many success stories coming from Lagos. But we're not in the backwaters in Port Harcourt, because I know that we've had similar seminar here. And I can tell you, Dr. Ineka, that our students are very innovative. They got brains. The problem here is the barrier, rather, or challenge, if you want to call it, is sponsorship. And that's the problem here. You see them enthused here. This is not the first time we've had this. And if you ask them, apart from their studies, what they're doing, what they call it, local balance, hustle. Yes? I do it too. I do editing and proofreading. So you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. We may even take over Lagos if we have sponsorship. I listened to the first speaker when I came in, Mr. Kobo, Mr. Kobo, and I was, oh, doctor? I'm sorry. And I was really enthused by a product of this university, and he's really taking the bull by the storm and just really gone way ahead, far, far ahead of what anybody here will think of. And I think there are other Akobos sitting out there. And I think we have to acknowledge that and support them, encourage them, and provide the enabling environment for them to succeed. He talked about the philosophy, first purpose, then philosophy. And he talked about skills, the people to manage the business. Then, of course, the other, that should be the first actually, profit. And he talked about profit and prosperity. When he said prosperity, I was thinking of churches. Now, that's not the kind of prosperity we're talking about here. We're talking about profit, making profit, living well, living very well, to the envy of your neighbors, if possible. Okay. So anyway, I've been told that Dr. Ineka will be leaving us very soon to catch our plane. So we're going to take some questions from the floor, so that you can direct the questions to her, and she can take them rather briefly, because we don't want her to miss her flight. Any questions from the floor? Do you have another mic? Okay. Which column are you? Okay. Okay, sir.
Chairman of the occasion, Amiable Vice Chancellor, my name is Professor Isaac Dokubo, the Dean, Faculty of Education. I'm very happy, including my faculty, for this conference or workshop I've attended today. Because one, my department, Vocational and Technology, were very innovative. So one of the questions I want to ask is that, how can we have access, as discussed by NECA, access to fund? We have innovative minds. We have professionals. We have a technical workshop that needs to be assisted. The university, in their own capacity, the university has tried her very best to assist us. Apart from that, I've also established a demonstration farm. If we can have access to fund, our innovative minds are there. The willingness is also there. How do we have access and help so that we develop our farm to an amiable height as well as our technical workshop? And again, if the speakers today will avail themselves during convocation week and see the innovative materials or what we have produced, I think they'll be willing to assist us. Thank you.
Please. Okay.
My name is Otoye Mark Barango, Company Secretary and Legal Advisor of River State Microfinance Agency. Okay, my name is Otoye Mark Barango. I'm the Group Company Secretary and Legal Advisor of River State Microfinance Agency. Madam, this question is for you. Recently, the Faith Institute released their State of Entrepreneurship in Nigeria policy document. And there was a finding that there's a decline in entrepreneurship within Nigeria from 32% in 2022 to 30% in 2023. Now, it was attributed to certain headwinds, which were influenced by policies of the federal government. The devaluation of the naira was one, the removal of fuel subsidy. My question is this: how do the policymakers, what will you be saying to the policymakers? How do they infuse or conceptualize entrepreneurship within policy formulation so that they do not face the impact of these headwinds could be mitigated? Thank you.
Where?
Thank you for the opportunity. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ineka, for that inspiring presentation. My name is Dr. Oluwayemisi Olorode from Niger Delta University. You actually told us various channels of getting money for entrepreneurial development. And one of the channels is Alumni Association. Now my question goes this way. In an institution where an alumni association is declining or not really active, what approach do you think lecturers or directors in such institutions can do? What approach do you think we can make to get this association activated and bring these alumni together to realize their responsibilities in this entrepreneurship? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abia Imo David, an entrepreneur. I'm glad that I came here today for the streaming of this program. It's not my event anyway. I just came to assist a friend. I'm a product of the Shell Livewire program, a social entrepreneurship program that trains young persons to do business as a first career option rather than look for white-collar jobs, which are not there. My question is this. I'm a Malabite. I'm a graduate of University of Calabar, an applied chemist, now practicing photochemistry, not out of frustration, but of choice. And I'm doing well in it. Now, how do we reconcile this? How do we change the mindset of undergraduates during their school days? That whether I'm glad that the university now has an entrepreneurial faculty that's solely entrepreneurship. How do we change the mindset of young persons, undergraduates in school, that once you graduate, you should not be thinking of getting a job, but rather you should think of creating a job for yourself and employing others. rather than look for jobs that do not exist. Because now the trend has turned. When people finish school, that is when they look for the job. When they don't see jobs 3, 4, 5 years, men not able to get married because the stakes are high now. Women not finding husbands. They now go to learn tailoring, go to learn hairdressing. After they've lost so much years behind what they would have even learned while they were still in school, and probably start after NYSC. So that rather than look for jobs, you have started your own small thing at your own small space. When I finished, I worked as an environmental chemist, but I was still doing my photography. I still have a check of 50,000 salary, which bounced. That is what changed my mindset. And when I kept in contact with Share Livewire, I don't speak for Shell, but I'm an apostle of the Share Livewire program. My mindset changed. That rather look for a job, create one for yourself, and create for other people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think at this point, I would like you to give the microphone to a student, please. A student representative. Okay.
Good day, everyone. I am Mwigwe Chisom by name, from the Department of Animal and Environmental Biology, Rivers State University. I am just looking at the topic as the speakers were speaking, and it says that entrepreneurship education is a catalyst for sustainable economic growth in Nigeria. Now, I'm looking at the word sustainability, economic growth, and then in our nation, Nigeria. And the guest speaker has just highlighted a few testimonies from certain persons that have enterprises, businesses. And I was just thinking, if we have these people that have all these businesses, if we have all these entrepreneurs in Nigeria, business moguls and others, the rest, yet we are still where we are. Could we say that entrepreneurship is actually a catalyst, especially for sustainable economic growth? If we have all these people in Nigeria, yet we are not growing, there's no sustainability, Nigeria is not growing, could we really say that entrepreneurship education is really a catalyst? Is it really what it is, or is there something else that is pending Nigeria from growing?
Yes? Sir? The one with the stripe?
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Special recognition to the guest speakers, the keynote speaker. Mine is just a question to the school. Is there any short-term course you're running in the Department of the Entrepreneurship? Some of us are not students here, but it is something that is important. I equally understand that this is the first edition. I heard when the VC said so. How sustainable can this be? And how can people who are not students here benefit from that department? Thank you.
Can we take two more, please? Preferably from a student as well.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay. So I'm Arinze Isdo, if 500 level law students of Rivers State University, of this university, and looking at the practical aspect, because one of the speaker, Mr. Dari, talked about the practical aspect of what we learn in class. So one of the ways we have been able to conquer that, because as a student, I was privileged to head a club, which is the task club of the Rivers State University, of this institution. That task club, by the fact that we are not just made up of law students, we are made up of accounting, marketing, economics department. We also have persons from accounting itself and law. So we have been able to share ideas, practical ideas, see how we can resolve contemporary issues beyond what we have learned in our class. And it will also interest you to know that when the president set up the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee, the chairman, Taiwo Oyedele, reached out to the various tax clubs in Nigeria, and he said he needed students that would work in that committee. That platform, the tax club, has helped create a link where we can collaborate with the public sector, private sector, to better ourselves in terms of the practical knowledge. And that is that practical understanding that is needed for us to excel as an entrepreneur, and not just the theoretical aspect of what we have learned. We also have the environmental law club in the institution, and we are trying to see our students how we can better ourselves in terms of practical knowledge by coming together to join these clubs. What is mostly lacking is what I say, partnership. We need more partners from the private sector and also government. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Before we take the next question before we take the next question, I'd like to remind the audience that in this university we have the Advancement and Linkages Center. Let's not forget that. It's one of the directorates that handle this kind of thing, apart from the Directorate of Enterprises. Okay? So they are quite active. Yes, after him, yes.
Good afternoon, Chairman. My name is Professor Daibi Dagugo. I have two issues to raise. The first is the fact that our presenter from Lagos, she's representing Pan-Atlantic University, and she's the Director of Enterprise Development. But our own center is Entrepreneurship Development Center, EDC. Hers is Enterprise Development Center, EDC. May I know the difference? That's one. Two, I've listened to the two presentations. The only mention of finance was when she mentioned business angels in passing. And I also saw the partners with Pan-Atlantic University. I never saw any particular investment or financing window that is suitable for small businesses or for the young entrepreneurs. So I'm eager to listen and hear things about entrepreneurial finance most suitable for small businesses. I'm told several times that when the young potential entrepreneurs go to the bank with their business plans, they are turned down. So can you say one or two things about it for their benefit? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So I love money. My first degree is in banking and finance. I'm from Ozubulu, that is beside the Navy. And since I was 12, 13, my mom and my dad have been running businesses. So funding is important. But I think the reason why you didn't hear it very strongly coming out is the fact that people have bastardized the theory of importance of funding to the extent that they don't think about the value addition and creation. When I first started 20 years ago working in EDC, if I entered a class and asked, what is your number one problem? Everybody would tell me funding. 20 years later, when I asked them, what is your number one problem? Ah, madam, I can't find the right staff. So funding is important. I totally agree with you. And traditionally, it was the 3 Fs. I have made it 4 Fs. So the 3 Fs for young people, they don't have any business going to the bank at the level that they are because they might not even be sure whether this is a long-term thing for them. But traditionally, they should meet their friends, their families, fools that just believe in them for no reason, and then, most importantly, their fellowship groups. We're seeing funding being raised from where you worship, wherever it is that you're worshiping. So funding is important. Act like that. The second place I recommend for young people are the grant opportunities available with competitions. There's so many of them. But the challenge is that our young people, they have this. They're on Instagram, they're watching Bobrisky, they're watching Davido. They're not looking for things to better themselves. There's so many. I will use my institution as one. We have an accelerator and a boot camp that we do in the agribusiness space and the creative space. And we give money. For the creative, beyond the money we are giving for the final winner, so they do regional. And I think the regional takes place in Asaba for South-South, Kanu, Enugu, Lagos, Abuja, and one other place. But they come to Lagos for the finals. And beyond the money they get, for the creative, that person goes to represent Nigeria, and we pay as EDC. They go and represent Nigeria at the Creative Business Corp. Okay? So the monies they win in grants are always typically less than 10 million naira. So that's just one that we're doing. The second one, there's so many grant opportunities. When I started, we didn't have the amount of grants that are available. Minus one federal government is doing. But they don't know because they don't want to know. So at the level they are, they have no business going to bank. Even our distinguished speaker here, if he was going to go to bank, he knows how he will prepare. But the level he is, he probably won't prepare as much. We know what MPR is now. They're going to get double digits. It's nothing less than 30-something%. They don't need that. Right now, they need to be testing that it works. And for it to work means that you move around your friends and family, your friends and fellowship, they support you. Then we also have angel networks. So I know that we have Abuja Angel Network. We have Lagos Angel Network. I don't know that we have for River State. You might have. If you don't, anybody that is in funding here, I can link you up with the African Angel Business Network founder, and you can set up a chapter. So what angels are private sector people like myself. I might say, well, I have a careless 5 million. 100 of us come together. That's 500 million. And they can access that. So, but you see, the private sector, working with academia, makes such things happen. The other question that you asked was the difference between the both of us. The essential difference is that I am mostly, almost 99% for entrepreneurs that, like my gentleman over there that was asking whether there was a program he could come to. That's the difference. And then maybe a few percent for my undergraduate. Whereas his center is focusing purely on undergraduate. But I've encouraged him, and I'm ready to work with him. Let's create something for the entrepreneurship ecosystem in River State. It's so important. River State traditionally has been a place to come to, so we will make it work. The question about what's holding Nigeria back, and I'm happy that my brother didn't want to go spiritual. What's holding us back is that we are holding ourselves back. We are very, very ungrateful for the privileges that we've been bestowed. We don't have natural disaster. You don't have tsunami. You don't have earthquake. Do we have tsunami here? Do you have earthquake? You saw what happened in Florida the other day. You don't have any of those things, except maybe for the north, the certain parts of the north. And the ones that, instead of us to look at that and dig deep and see what we can do, we don't. And then when people are doing well, you don't celebrate them. So what is holding us back is that we don't celebrate ourselves enough. You're doing great things. Your sister or your brother is doing great things. Celebrate them. Share those success stories. When you share those success stories, what it does is that it inspires the next person. Someone that has already started the journey of setting up a business, that is thinking of giving up, when he sees or he hears, what happens to that person? That they're invigorated and they can continue. We need to share more success stories. But you know something? Nigeria is a country that has been dug deep 100 feet. For every 1 feet you dig up, you've made progress. But have you come out of the pit? No. If you bear that in mind, you will not be discouraged. Okay, how do we change mindsets of young people? It's not by what we say as academicians, it's not by what we say as professors. We talk too much. And they are not going to listen to you if you have not walked the talk. So we must be consistent with that. They are watching us. And for as long as we are the elders that they see, and all we do is complain and everything, they're going to just have a totally different mindset. To change their mindset in all the courses that we're teaching, go beyond teaching them the academics and let them see the potential. Because, after all, it is those that studied history that created the History Channel. Right or wrong? Yes. People that studied history created History Channel. People that studied all the things that have to do with geography and all that, they created the National Geographic Channel. To the extent that National Geographic Channel has so much money. So you must teach them differently. Don't be teaching them 1 + 1 = 2. No, we know 1 + 1 = 2. What does that mean? What can it mean? Let them think. Let them ask questions. I know it might be tiring because we have classes of 500, 1,000, 2,000, and we know that registrar, vice chancellor, they're asking us to submit our results and all those things. But guess what? The power to transform Nigeria is in our hands as academicians. The other question was about growing alumni. So the first thing is that I'm not sure, but you should have, you're a very old and prestigious institution. You must have an alumni unit. So I would recommend whoever is in charge of alumni to do some things. The very first one, let them survey the current alumni, sort of feel the pulse of the current alumni. And in doing that is to find out why they are not engaged. Is it that they are not engaged because we are not engaging them? Could it be that in alumni units, please, no offense meant by this, we've hired people that are there that don't know what they're supposed to do. That's another possibility. Maybe we have square pegs and they're in round holes. So we need to do a survey, find out why they're not engaged. Then, most importantly, people only want to go to where they see value. So you must now look, as an alumni department, what value are we giving? And if you already have some defined values, can we redefine the values? So your alumni should have section on career progression. Your alumni should also do things around networking. So networking is so important. Provide networking opportunities for them. Speak with distinguished alumni that have left. Those that are in history, find alumni and tap into that alumni's network and bring people to create networking sessions for them. And then most importantly, you cannot run a good alumni department if you don't use technology. There are so many tools out there to manage alumni. And alumni units are very powerful. If you know the amount of money the major Ivy League universities have, the money they have in their endowment, pooled there by the alumni, some small countries don't have it. There's so much power in alumni. So I want to crave the indulgence of the alumni department and a vice chancellor. Let's look at that. The money you're looking for is there. Don't go to government. I don't even prescribe that going to government. Once you have 100 alumni committing to giving you 1 million in the next 5 years every year, you don't have any problem. Okay? So don't be thinking big. I know people want to go and meet government to give you 1 billion. That's not sustainable. For as long as they're giving, once they give you, you know you've done something right. Then you now tell them, okay, you know what? Can you help me talk to your friends? Can we have a dinner? Have an endowment. I have an endowment. My endowment is in dollars. And I will encourage you to have an endowment. Okay? We set up an endowment and we raise funds for that. And the endowment is what will help you for sustainability. Then the other question was around policies and how policies are being set up affect entrepreneurship. Remember when I was wrapping up, I mentioned that I said rise, and the R was for resilience. Okay? So we already know we're in a frontier, very volatile economy. And there's some things that are not within your control. Part of what keeps me sane with the work I do is that I have understood clearly what is within my circle of influence and the ones that are not. And I focus squarely on the ones that I can influence. The policies will be there. So rather than getting yourself bogged down by talking about policies going in that direction, work with young people so that they can always see, were this to happen, I would do this. Let them get into the habit of scenario planning. And they must always have at least 5 scenarios at any point in time. I raise my children to do scenario planning for everything. And they know. So they are 23 and 26 now. They're adults. They know. So if they're coming to meet me, first and foremost, you can never, ever in my office come and meet me and tell me you have a problem. You dare not. They know. So if they're coming to me, they say, oh, madam, we have this problem, but we came up with this. So initially they'll come with one solution, but now they're coming with 3. So for as long as you get people to start to think and do SWOT analysis, do scenario planning, they will not be so crumbled and crushed by the policies and the inconsistent policies. And then the very first question, which is so important, around access to resources. So the resources are available. They're everywhere. But like I said, we need to plug in. A lot of multilateral agencies, now more than ever, because Africa is the largest growing continent, there's so many funds. But one thing you have to realize is that in the grant community, there's always a flavor. You know how vanilla is the flavor? So the flavor then, there was the polio was flavor, smallpox was flavor, then malaria was flavor, HIV was flavor. There's always a flavor. So right now, the flavors are gender, climate, youth, employability, right? And then we're talking about artificial intelligence. So I want to recommend that as departments, if we are deliberate about it, and that is how you'll be sustainable, is to start to put yourself together. And when I say put yourself together, because you have to do the proposals, you have to do the TORs that they're going to set up, the concept notes, and put something together. It might mean that you actually even have somebody that you recruit specifically for fundraising and grant writing. That can happen, right? And once you have that and you put together, as long as you're able to meet the objectives, it's there. But what I have said is that I've committed, because it's an entrepreneurship center that has brought me today, is to open up our own network to him. I don't know whether, Engineer Loba, are you here? Engineer Loba, fantastic. Engineer Loba, thank you very much. He's from the Small Medium Enterprise Development Agency. It's a federal government agency. They regulate entrepreneurship. He's a coordinator for Rivers State. And it was only yesterday, on my way back from the airport, that we reached out. And what I said was that I spoke with Ado in Abuja, is to say, this is a school that is doing very well. They have an entrepreneurship center. At the federal level, what can we do? What programs can we come together and make happen? So if it is entrepreneurship, I will be able to connect with those in my network. I've also reached out to the DG of the Women's Chamber of Commerce to see what can we do here. But as a person, and in closing up, I want to commit to doing free training online for young women 18 to 35 that are from your community. And beyond training them, I want to commit to those that already have businesses, helping them, once they have finished the growth plan component of that program, to, number 1, register their business. Number 2, design their logos. Number 3, once I have a minimum of 150 of them that have products that can be sold, I will bring an exhibition, if it can be done before the end of the year, and I'll pay for it. In addition to that, I'm also committing to the 500 that will be taught online. And it has to be done over a 1-month period, to do cash, because we normally would reward people, to do cash awards every other 2 weeks of 100,000 naira each to whoever is the star student of the program. It's an entrepreneurship program. And I'll give that cash award to 5 people, so that's 500,000. And at this junction, I think I need to dash to the airport. Thank you very much. I think I've taken all the comments. So I want to say that I am committed. As I stand here, I'm also the chair for all the directors of Entrepreneurship Center in the Nigerian universities. So I'm the chair of chairs. So we have a platform that we sit on. So I'm also bringing warm greetings from all of them, all the other directors. So we have 6 regions, and all the universities can think of them, that platform. They are here to support what you're doing, and we're very, very inspired that you came, you listened, but you went ahead and you implemented by doing this. Thank you very much.
Please, there's an issue that was raised about funding. She has explained, but when she leaves, we'll still have opportunity of interacting. I'm sure the managing director of Rivers State Microfinance Agency will also speak to us on the opportunities, what we can get from the agency. And then the other one, our director will also speak to us on some of the areas of funding for these microfinance institutions or agencies and companies. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, you just relax and we have refreshments for everyone, courtesy of the Vice Chancellor. So we'll quickly present awards to the chairman, the speaker, and the keynote speaker before the speaker will leave. Then Daria Akobo is here to provide answer, and also the River State Microfinance Agency. So let me invite the chairman of the occasion, the executive secretary, NCDMB, ably represented by Timbiri Augustine, to receive the award. Please, Vice Chancellor, you come and present the award to the chairman of the occasion. Please put your hands together. University is presenting award to the chairman of the occasion for their contribution in entrepreneurship development.
On behalf of the River State University, and in particular, the Entrepreneurship Development Center, it's my pleasure to present this award to you. Thank you very much for honoring us with your esteemed presence.
Thank you. Let me invite our guest speaker, Dr. Mrs. Nneka Okekeru, Director, Enterprise Development Center, Pan Atlantic University, Lagos.
On behalf of River State University, and in particular, the Entrepreneurship Development Center, it's my pleasure to present this award for you. We have really benefited immensely from your presentation. Thank you very much for honoring us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And let me invite our own, Mr. Daire Akobo, the keynote speaker for today, who is the chairman, GCAO Pana Holdings.
Sir, on behalf of River State University, it's my pleasure and privilege to present this to you. You have been with us. You are an example of what an alumnus can do to the alma mater. And we want to encourage you to do more for River State University. Congratulations. Thank you.
Please, just remain. Please, the speakers and members of High Table, please just come for a group photograph. The chairman, the speaker, the registrar.
Thank you very much indeed. We're going to take more questions. But before then, we would like to call up Mr. Otonye Makbarango. He's the one that talks about microfinance institutions. He would like to come up and say a word or two, please. Otonye Barango, please.
The VC, the representative of the chairman, the registrar, the deans of faculties and the directors of the institutes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Otonye Mark Barango. I'm a lawyer. I am representing the MD of the River State Microfinance Agency. I work as the group company secretary and legal advisor. We just finished hearing from the respected speakers on entrepreneurship. One of the major challenges that entrepreneurs face is access to capital. That's one of the major challenges that entrepreneurs face. The state government sometime in 2008 set up the River State Microfinance Agency to, amongst others, provide funding for entrepreneurs, including micro, small, and medium enterprises within the state. Over the past 15 years, we have disbursed funds to businesses that have very good business ideas. Even presently, the state government, in collaboration with the Bank of Industry, established a fund of 4 billion naira. It's a matching fund. The River State government provided 2 billion. The Bank of Industry provided 2 billion. Disbursement has already commenced. As we speak, the agency has disbursed to over 1,000 beneficiaries within this year alone. But you need to meet some preconditions. You must have a business idea. You must also be, you must have a business idea, you must be in business, and some other preconditions that you need to fulfill. So what we did was, the agency disburses any fund between 1 million and below. Anyone above 1 million, you will need to go through the Bank of Industry. So for those of us who are interested, who are entrepreneurs, or who are entrepreneurs, because the fund is not for people that are about starting. The fund is not for startup, because the assumption is that as a startup, you've not gone through your learning curve. And because it is not a grant, it is a loan. It is payable. But the interest is very, very low. It's about 7% on a reducing balance basis per annum, which comes to less than 5%. You will agree that that's about the cheapest fund that you can get anywhere. Banks are doing around like 35% now with the recent rise in MPR. So basically, we will advise, it's not limited to just River State indigents. It's open to anybody that is domiciled and is doing business in Rivers State. So you're all invited to come and apply. I can give you the website address for you to apply. For those of you looking at assessing between 1 million and below, the website is www.rima.ng. www.rima.ng. If you are looking at assessing above 1 million, then you need to go through the Bank of Industry. So basically, that's just an overview of our entrepreneurs, that arrangement that the state government have made for you to access capital. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Otonye Makbarango. I wanted to hear something from you. I didn't get it, maybe because I was busy with someone. If one brings a business plan to a microfinance institution, does the person have to be a customer? You have to be a customer. like to know whether they have to be a customer, transfer their bank account to the microfinance before they can have access to funds.
Okay, so basically, you do not need to have a banking relationship with the agency. The agency is not a deposit-taking institution, all right? But the agency owns a microfinance bank, 100%. The state government is presently trying to recapitalize the bank because the CBN came up with a new regulation that all microfinance banks that have the category of licenses that are described as state licenses, which enables them to operate in any part of the state, must have a capital base of nothing less than 1 billion. Before, it was 100 million. And what the state government is looking at doing, since after the demise of Pan-African Bank, the state government do not have any controlling shares in any bank of whatever description. So this is something that is novel. And so the state government is particularly interested in scaling the capital base to meet the CBN requirement. So you must maintain an account with that bank, but you do not necessarily need to be transacting with the bank. The whole idea is we're trying to have an ecosystem and domicile all the transactional dynamics within us so we can control what goes on. You know, so we can tell the bank, okay, don't take, let's say, 4 naira for SMS. Take 1 naira. The whole idea is to make it cheaper for the people that are accessing the funds. So that's what we're doing. You don't need to have a banking relationship with us. You don't need to have a banking relationship with our bank. The security for the loan, for the 1 million and below, there is it doesn't need to be any of this thing. All you need is just a guarantor and a piece of check. That's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I hope we are better informed now with the microfinance agency of River State. Now, I would like to call on Engineer Egbuna Iloba. He's from Sweden. Sweden is the small and medium enterprises development agency of Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir.
The Vice Chancellor, sir, dignitaries at the head table here, professors seated here, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I am Iloba Ebune of the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria. What we do essentially with respect to the development of nano, micro, small and medium enterprises. First and foremost, policy formulation. The first question, one of the questions that was raised that time was in terms of policies. Somebody raised that question. And what we are doing in that respect is this. The current policy on MSMEs spans from 2021 to 2025. So currently, as we are now, this present policy is coming to an end. And we are going to seek or sought the opinion of MSMEs throughout Nigeria on how this present policy has fared. There's going to be an input from all these across the country. You might also ask how we're going to do this. We have business membership organizations, chambers of commerce, and at the topmost level, we have the National Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture. So we do it in all the 6 geopolitical zones and get their input before another policy will be put in place. So it's going to be something that all the MSMEs in the ecosystem will make their own contribution. Access to finance. just as the speakers have all said. If you ask any MSME, what is your problem? You say, finance. But we know not all the MSMEs have finance as their problem. But in that wise, Smedan has a 5 billion naira fund domiciled at the Sterling Bank. So, MSMEs, we normally advise them to approach any branch of Sterling Bank. Note is Sterling Bank to source finance. Another where you are seated here, you can Google Smedan Sterling Bank loan. Then download the app Banker, B-A-C-A. Banker, B-A-N-C-A. You can start from there. We also have what we call a matching fund arrangement. It's a counterpart funding arrangement with all the, some with Bank of Industry, then people in the south, and then those in the north with Jaiz Bank. Every state is encouraged to have a counterpart funding arrangement made. With this, it is easier for MSMEs in the state to access funds through the Bank of Industry with all ease. We have a program that we call Conditional Grant Scheme. Conditional Grant Scheme. It's not much, but it will enable a beginner to register his or her business. So, I will advise young or entrepreneurs because I can still remember somebody asked the question, a self-employed person and an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur identifies a problem, creates a product or a service that will solve that problem. He sees that problem as a gap. We at times make that mistake, but as a self-employed person, that's true. If you come, the conditional grant scheme will help you also. There's a financial empowerment, also like conditional grant scheme. Other programs include one local government, one product is for cooperatives. So, MSMEs that are here, we advise you to belong to a membership, business membership organization, or form cooperatives. Form cooperatives. As we speak, emphasis is on agriculture and value addition. So if you key in to the line that the federal government is following, you will benefit a lot. Thank you. And that's what I can say for now.
Thank you very much, sir. What a privilege to have the representative for the South of Sweden. Don't know about River State, but in Western states and other states, they're really key into Sweden. And most of the furniture companies, most of the businesses, fashion, all those businesses, medium scale enterprises, go to Sweden to source for their funds. We are glad to have him here today. Thank you very much. The next person we are going to call is a woman. Yay. She's Engineer Mrs. Asanimo Umeze, and she's the Executive Secretary, Women in Energy Network.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't have money to give you. I'm not a bank. And I stand on existing protocols of VPCR and everything. Okay, so we are a network of women. A couple of us came together in 2020 to try to close the gender gap. I know that Dr. Okeraku talked about the flavors of now gender, agri, and diversity and all. So a lot of us thought about the leadership gap in the energy value chain. And the flavor today, there's a lot of women organizations trying to close that gap. But we are the Women in Energy Network. We're set up in 2020 to close the leadership gap in the energy sector. And during our brainstorming session in the formation time, which was in 2020, we realized that crying for leadership positions without the pipeline growing would be futile. So we have leaders of today, but what about tomorrow? We realize that a lot of young girls, very bright girls, come into education in STEM with a lot of STEM capacity, but end up outside STEM for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I'm not going to belabor us with that because that's not why we're here. So we have been trying to engage UST, being one of the very foremost school, making a lot of impact in the Niger Delta, where all the mining of the energy activity exists. So we want to touch more of us, bring us in so that we can be part of the community that the exploit of the products is impacting the most. We want us to benefit the most. So what am I saying? We are interested in recruiting young girls in STEM. We are a network of, today we are about 700 women in that network with about 24 corporate members with us. And we realize that there's a gap, a huge gap, in keeping girls in STEM. In 1983, when I entered the university, my engineering class of about 200, there were 4 girls. Today, I'm excited to say that the number has grown, but it's still not up to 20%. So why are they not staying? They come first, second in maths in secondary and primary schools, but get into the university, after the first year in sciences, they leave. With a lot of reasons. That's not the reason why I'm here. I'm sure the VC knows why they leave and why they don't leave. But we are saying that we want the girls who have established their strength and energies in the STEM courses, who are in their semi-final to final year, to join the network, to get mentorship, to identify role models that will encourage them to stay. Because I'm here today as an engineer, I've stayed in engineering forever, and I think I look like I've succeeded a bit, even if I tell myself. So I want to encourage you, and I want to use the opportunity to ask for a window to come ourselves, to come and visit you. I've actually written to you twice to come to make these visits, but one of our members, who is a lecturer here, told me that this is an opportunity to introduce WIEN, for you to know that we're here to support you and also to bring girls in the STEM field, because we want to see women. I mean, Doctor talked before she left that diversity is one of the flavors up and down. The whole world has seen that a woman on the table brings values that the men don't bring. We're not competing, but we realize that the men will represent us. It's not because they don't want to, but because they won't understand us as we are. So we bring the flavor, we bring the value women bring. And also in the financial sector, it's been proven that women have brought 25% more value in terms of profit to institutions that have women leadership. So we have statistics to show. So I want to use this opportunity to show myself today to the young students, female, I'm sorry, because the male are already dominating. And I want you to register free of charge in our network. We have some flyers at the back. So we share it to you, STEM students, female, to go onto the network. All you need to do is register for free. And you join a community that will educate you and ensure that you succeed in this energy sector. Thank you very much. University, you don't know what STEM is? STEM name is Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. I didn't think I needed to define it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. At this point, I think we're going to take one or two words from the high table. They've been listening to you. The VC overrules. He's the president here. So he says we should take more questions. More questions. If you have any question, please raise your hand and we'll bring the microphone to you. Please raise your hand so that we can see you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, the Vice Chancellor. May I stand on existing protocol? My name is Lolo Hesham, Faculty of Education, Department of Adult Education and Community Studies. I want to thank the EDC Center for this workshop. I arrived earlier before the 10 o'clock because entrepreneurship is one of the things I hold very tenaciously to my heart. I have a growth mindset, and aside being a lecturer, I'm also a businesswoman because I want to retire well. I'd like to say that there are things I think should be added. Probably this workshop next time could be a 2-day workshop where there could be an exhibition stand where we could bring in live entrepreneurs to showcase what they are doing so that students can participate. And it should be done during the school period so we can get students to get involved. And then I think that we should look at things like venture capital funding, something like the Dragon's Den funding to help innovative and creative students. And then when doing that, we should look at 3 components: the mentoring, the coaching, and the sponsorship. These are very key to helping students grow. There are lots of students with talents, innovative mind, and are creative. They can create products that we can exhibit in this university and make money from it. I like to say I like the Igbo apprenticeship system where people learn from others and stand on their own. The Igbo people have distinguished themselves. They stand out in business. That's a very wonderful model. I'm studying it, and I think it's something worth studying. I like to also say that sponsorship is very key. We have a lot of IOCs in River State. I'm not seeing the banking industry here on the flyers. We have the banking industry in the campus. Part of their CSR should be sponsoring such programs. Individual responsibility, people could also sponsor and assist in such programs. That's to blow up the program. And then a lot of publicity should be done so that people can come from outside to attend this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam. More of recommendations and suggestions than questions. But thank you all the same. I'm sure that those that are responsible, the director, for instance, have taken note. And I think after this, you can meet with the directorate and present those recommendations. We are very grateful. Any more questions, please?
Please permit to stand on existing protocols. I don't know how to, I will thank God first. My name is Jerome M. Ikodeme from Physics Department. I don't know how to thank God because, one, in this hall, so many lectures, inaugural lectures, have been delivered with solutions to our problems. So at this stage, I want to apply through my former dean, who is now the director of EDC. I want to apply through him to the VC, to His Excellency. Let us come, as the Chief Speaker said, find solution to this River State problem today. Because one, in this hall, it has been said that Ntamagwa River is dead. I remember that in 1962, when I was in Standard 2, I was washing plates in that river that is dead here. The whole of that place was swamp when my people were tapping a per one. 1962, I was in Standard 2 on holiday, washing plates in that river called Ntamagwa River. It's dead. In my own village, same thing, same story in my own village. That's ecosystem we are talking about. Environment is changing. Our food is changing. The gari we are eating now is no more the gari before. The ogun is no more the same. Everything is changing. Even our thinking. I know in my department, we're now fighting with students using phone. As the lecture is going on, they are busy making calls, doing this. They're not hearing anything. You give a student assistant, it will ask you to spell and, A-N-T, and. Because the ear is blocked from the use of phone. Everything is changing. So we have to change accordingly. So let me cut my doctor short. Let me apply through my dean. I will meet him. We'll meet VC. They will see the governor.
Thank you very much, sir. We can all feel the climate change, all of us. Any other person? I think that should be the last, please. Yes? Okay.
Good afternoon, all. All protocols duly observed. I have a question here I want to ask. The question is, what skills are most critical for entrepreneurs to acquire through this entrepreneurial education to drive sustainable self-development? So what skills are most critical? Why I ask the question is because majority of us entrepreneurs, we tend to go into skills or businesses that along the line we see ourselves not doing well in it, and along the line we see ourselves slacking back and we don't go into it again. So the question is, what skills, as an experienced entrepreneur, what skills are most critical that you should advise us to go into? Thank you.
Thank you so much. But I think this is the last question. I wanted to speak while our sister was here. And it's very, very pertinent because I'm a practical example. Our problem to access is information. Lagos State has a peculiar way of design. Yes, private sector will drive it. But the last sister who spoke here, she mentioned something very, very important. If this event was held in Lagos Business School or Lagos State, primarily all the banks that are benefiting from this, all of the students would have been here. And that is a very, very important factor. If you look at all the donors that are here that she has mentioned, they are private sector benefiting from the state. Yeah? I will give you a living example. A lady that was supposed to come and work with me from January came all the way from she works with African Development Bank. All the embassies are in Lagos and Abuja. There is no embassy here, so there's a disadvantage. There is no international airport here that is coming, there's only one. If you just go and travel around the international airports, even the duty-free shops, some of them, they've not sold one thing. So what we should do is on how to, and that is why the government of Rivers State should not be thinking that governance is just all about manipulating people from local government to the state. No. The governance is for you to link How can a Minister of Trade or Commissioner of Trade and Investment link up to the Commissioner of Trade and Investment in Abuja? Every embassy in Nigeria is there not for visa alone. They are for visas and economic bilateral relationship. There is no linkage between the rivers governance and the center. So the question you should be asking the commissioners, how are they linking them? I'm aware, last week they came to my office, something that they are doing for agriculture. There is no representation in the South-South. Thank God she's Igbo, bearing Igbo name, but existing and being that business in Lagos State. But it's easy if we can, the government can enable the citizen to get that information. So that is on one side. On the other hand, means the public sector or private sector. There is difference between business plan and the logic of making money. What we have been taught severally is microeconomics and macroeconomics, which is important as a preamble to exercising the business faith. But hope is not a strategy. So you need at least what they call a business model canvas to execute business. And there are 9 things you must understand. The first one is, what value will that business give to the society? What value? That's number one. Number two, where is the customer? What type of customer do you want to serve? What are the customer archetypes? Number three, how do you get to those customers? How? It's just like a marriage. As a young man, you want to get married, you know you have a PhD, you have a good beginning, you want to look for a woman. You must describe the kind of woman you want to see. And that's the customer. Where do you want her to come from? From Ogoni, from Hausa, from Igbo, from everywhere. How tall do you want her to be? And how short do you want her to be? What type of children do you want to bring both sides? But how do you locate this woman? In the church, party hall, going through trains or whatever it is. So there must be a channel to reach that customer. You need to detail those channels. But when you find the lady at first instance, what relationship management? So I'm talking to the last speaker. The skill, Simon, is value creation, value generation, how to incubate business from problem. So there are 4 O's, obstacles. Obstacles are there everywhere, but how do you turn those obstacles to opportunities? And then what decision will you take to identify those obstacles into opportunity, rather? How do you take those obstacles to opportunity with one decision that will give you the right outcome? So you need to learn a skill of value creation. You need to learn a skill of customer segmentation. You need to learn a skill of channel management. How do you get to that channel? If not for regulation, Mr. Augustine and my good friends from the local content, if not for policy, Bayelsa will never be on the map of rivers, on the map of the world. But the reason why in November we are all marching to Bayelsa for Nigerian content, local content fair, because there was a law. And the law is there to give us opportunity. There was a law. Otherwise, everything that is happening in the industry, nobody was recognized. But there's a law. That's why this man is so powerful. So you need to understand those skills. Then, if you look at business, I'm talking about the logic of business. It's different from business plan. Please, business plans are very good, but they don't give you the money. The logic is what is important. Then how do you understand your stakeholder management? And that's why the lady spoke about the use of social media. Stakeholder management, the stakeholder is somebody who has what you don't have. Our National Orientation Agency has failed. So there is no information that is, with due respect, one of my friends is in this room working with the National Orientation Agency. They are not empowered. So there is no civil education and business education coming to us. So we need to use the social media. It's the greatest university of our world today, apart from the brick and mortar. So understanding your stakeholder in the business is very important. Now, microfinance bank is here, but how many of us, I think the EDC will create what we call an incubation. Everybody goes to CSC. Nigeria is the only place where the registration business is the cheapest. In Dubai, it's not. You can't go to Dubai and register 15 businesses. You are now, what is the objective of your business? General merchandise. It's not possible in Dubai. No. In Dubai, you must fix a particular business, one or two, for which you will pay. If you want to do one more, you pay more. They will make you to make sure that the business you are doing, you really know what you are doing. And before you even get your VAT certificate, you will spend like $50,000 to get a VAT certificate in the mainland. This country, everything is cheap. That's why sometimes we take it for granted. So you must also understand stakeholder management itself is part of business study. How do you talk to a banker? How do you present your paper to a banker? Civil service, if you want to write a letter to NUPRC, these people, our bosses here, they call you prayer. You must write your prayer. I want this. If you use the language of Shell to go to civil service, you won't get anything out of it. Then you need to understand relationship management, activity. So you talk about stakeholder management activity and understand value creation. So sustainability actually is like putting the word sustainability, I'll just explain. When you don't create value, you can't extract value. So for things to be sustainable, you need to give out and take. So that value that you want to use, that ring that you want to put in your hand for the woman to smile on a wedding day, that is what you should be focusing on. And how will that affect the society? If you do anything that does not affect society, no. So there are few things that you need to understand about leadership skills, sales skills, marketing, business development, systems. That's what I talk about, philosophy. You can't do the business today by staying you can stay in Tema to do the business, but you can actually reach out to the world through media. So on that note, I will say that, look, entrepreneurship, again, is the persistent pursuit of opportunity without regards to those scarce resources. It means that resources are scarce. Even that your parents give back to you, not everyone got married and gave birth to children, it's scarce. But also controlled by founders' fair choices, which means that the ones who have it, they don't want to release it. But you have to be relentless. It's not that some of us will be born with it. It's something that you can learn. And I think on that note, my recommendation is exactly what the lady has recommended. There are a lot of institutions that should support. The university cannot be on their own. They have very tight budget. The VC, fortunately, is, but can't do it alone. I hear now that there is a linkage, business linkage center. So maybe the EDC should work with those business linkage centers and provide a roadmap. There must be a mind shift. We should not be doing it the way we did it in the university. No. This is generally a public-private enterprise. Governance is key. When you came to my office, one of the first things I handed over to somebody who is heading my academy, Professor Chomba, is governance. How can we use governance? It is governance that people will see, private sector will see, to say that if they give you this grant, which is not perhaps to be paid back, but the grant will be used and they can come and see the effect. And so our next time you are coming, show us some of those things that you have collected and the result that you have also measured, so that people can get them and encourage them. Social media is one key thing. Thank you.
Before the chairman will make his remarks, please let me announce that we have refreshment for members of the high table, the deans, the directors, professors, and the vice chancellor's conference room after the program. So, Mr. Chairman, sir, your closing remarks.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me, please? Okay. So I think we are about rounding off this one-day workshop, and I believe that we have all learned. We were here today to create value. Those that may have taken this as something very critical to their life, may not remain the same as we round off this and go back to our various destinations. This is an interesting topic, entrepreneurship. There has been concern about funding. And when you ask people today, you are interested in business, they say yes. What do you think is the most important factor that you have to consider? They will say is money, cash. Now let's ask this question. It has been reported that over 70% of new businesses fail. The report makes reference to businesses that have been established, right? People secured funding and established the businesses, yet they fail. That is one of the reasons to say that cash is not the most critical factor that you have to consider. You must have good understanding of the business space. It's part of the skill that you must have, information, access to information. Just like we are looking out for access to funding, we should also look out for access to mentorship and information. We need to carry out environmental scanning of the market. Who are our competitors? Which are the competing services or products in that market? Sometimes we may come up with a solution and think that the solution is what is needed in the market. It may not be. We did competition covering some universities about 2 years back, 2 or 3 years back. The invitation was extended to innovators, young innovators from our university system. Many had prototype solutions. Some had solutions that were almost ready to go to the market. And they were celebrating at that point. But we intervened, got them, and we said no. They were not actually ready for the market. What did we do? Apart from in their solution, we subjected them to mentoring, coaching by entrepreneurs that are in the field. I was part of the team that did the screening and selected the prospective entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, we were able to get people that had solutions that we can take to the market. People that are experienced to come and mentor them. We also did our own contribution to that. At the end of the day, it was actually successful. We have commercialized about 1 or 2 of those efforts currently as NCDMB. So, entrepreneurship is not just for students. So we should not just think that the center is meant for just the students. The lecturers, the professors, the PhD holders, we all did this. Because that is the way we can create job opportunities. That is the way we can take ourselves from the poverty level to a better life. So it's for all of us. We are working, we'll get retired someday. What do? We have some people that went to school to read engineering, first class, very good. They went for paid work, and after retirement, nothing to show. Only for them to go back home and sit down and be complaining about government, hardship, and all that. So this is an opportunity for all of us. Let's take this seriously. We should take away our papers, our certificates, our degrees. Take it away. Let's look at what we can do. For me, I challenge people. If you can speak, take it to the market. If you can make people laugh, take it to the market. If you have good character, good attitude, take it to the market and sell it. If you have good leadership quality, take it to the market and sell it. Everything about our existence is selling. It's selling. Some of these sales, you don't even need your degrees. It may not even be what you have read in the university at all. We have people that went to school to read different disciplines, and only for them to abandon all these certificates. What they are using to make impact in the society is not what they read in the university. And what they are doing currently, they don't even have paper. They don't have anything to show for. They may not have even gone for any training, but they are experts in this area, making impact and contributing to the growth of the society. So let's have this understanding about life, the reality about life. Sometimes we get overwhelmed easily with Western education and our degrees. We are in the era of what you can do with your hands and your brain. We are in that era. What can you do with your hands and your brain? Take your papers aside. I was also a lecturer in the university before I left for the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. I don't present my degrees, I take it outside and talk practically. So we have to learn from this. We should not allow the Western education to take us down. Let's see what we can do. We have potentials, different potentials. Inherent potentials, God-given potentials. But sometimes we just allow the Western education to just make us idle. So let's see what we can do to be creative and innovative. Partnership is very important. Some people hide information. This is my idea. I don't want to share with anybody. I don't want to share with anybody. You may die with that idea without taking it to the market. You may have a beautiful idea, may not have the resources. You may have a beautiful idea, you may not have access to someone that can actually mentor you to make it a reality. So please, let's take this seriously. It is for all of us. For me, my desire is to be an entrepreneur. I'm working today, but I look outside salary work. And that is the way I want to prepare my children to be on their own, not to work for anybody. So thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, the chairman of the occasion. I didn't want to say any other thing, but I think it's important for us to appreciate them for finding time to honor our invitation. And I think it's just needful. For the chairman of the occasion, I want to especially appreciate you for your patience, being here since morning till this time to chairman this occasion. I want to say that as a university, we appreciate your presence. I give our warm regards to the executive secretary as you get back. For our brother, Mr. Dare Akobo, I always say that he's a chief, but he doesn't want to answer that title chief. But he's with us, an alumnus, a distinguished alumnus of this university. And somebody that is supporting us in several ways. You are very welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. The university is very appreciative of the role that you are playing in your alma mater. Thank you very much. Our sister has just left because she needed to catch her flight. Please, Director EDC, convey our appreciation to her for honoring our invitation to be here. Now, you talked about the chairman, you talked about the fact that people have helped to patent, to commercialize one edition. Let me inform you that as a university, and I think you were there one of the times we did exhibition, we have a number of patents from the Intellectual Property Technology Transfer Office here in this university. We have a number of things that we have produced and that require the commercialization and the support of organizations like yours to be able to bring them to fruition. And I think I will talk with the director, IPTTO, to ensure that those things are made public, so that you can also help us see whether one can be commercialized. And I know that there is also thinking about commercializing one or two of those things that we showcased during the last exhibition. So for the staff and the students of the university, I want to appreciate you for honoring the invitation from the Director, Entrepreneurship Development Center. And I hope that with what you have had today, our mindset will be changed. Maybe me too, when I finish my tenure as Vice Chancellor, I will think of establishing one business to be able to, so that I won't just depend on the salary of a university professor. Thank you very much, and thank you. Thank you.
Please, let's appreciate our Vice Chancellor. Our Vice Chancellor has helped us to handle item number 12. We thank you, Vice Chancellor, sir. Please appreciate him again. Thank you, Vice Chancellor. And let me, on behalf of the Director and the committee, which I'm a member, thank the Vice Chancellor for approving this workshop. We are grateful, Vice Chancellor, sir. On that note, the Vice Chancellor, the Chairman, let me invite the National President of the Rivers State University Alumni Association, Lady Berenzi, for the closing prayer.
Let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Our Father and our God, we thank you for today. We thank you because even before this day, you had ordained that this program will take place. We therefore give you thanks for the success of this program. Our King, we commit all that we heard today into your hands. Just as the speakers have told us, this is not just for students. We pray that whatever we've learned today, we'll put into practice. And that we also will contribute our own quarter to sustaining our dear country. University into your mighty hands, especially the visitor of this great university, who is one of us. We ask that you continue to guide him, protect him, especially at times like this. We ask that this university will continue to find favor in the sight of Almighty God and the visitor and all those that will partner with this great university to take it to yet greater heights. We ask for more wisdom for the Vice Chancellor and his management team and all the support staff. And we lift up the Directorate for Entrepreneurship into your mighty hands. We commit all those that have put in so much hard work to ensure that today's success is a reality. And for all that has made it from far and wide to attend this program, we ask that the peace of Almighty God be with you and your families, and that he will take us back home safely. And at the end, we shall always have cause to come back each time the university asks for us. For these and many others we ask in the name of the dear Son, Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, God forever and ever.
University Anthem. Chika, we too, let's join for the refreshment.